utilizing high technology for gaining excellent education quality. This talk is an international talk organized by Language Unit Institute Agama Islam Negeri Madura, East Java, Indonesia. IAIN Madura here is a small island located in the northern of Surabaya. Surabaya here is a big city in East Java, Indonesia exactly. Well, today we have three keynote speakers. We have Dr. Luis Cardoso, Miguel Cardoso from Portugal, and the second we have Dr. Durgaryan from Armenia, and the last is Dr. Prodhan Mahbub Ibn Siraj from Bangladesh. And we have three beloved presenters, and they are going to present their title later. Hey, my name is Abdul Wafi. I am as head of language unit IAIN Madura. I would like to say thank you very much for joining in our regular activity, namely lecture talk series 16. Lecture here is the abbreviation of L. L is like A is E, I mean education, C culture, T technology, U universality, R religion, and E environment. And we are inviting keynote speakers and presenters to talk about those topics interchangeably. And the purpose or the goal of this activity is spreading our thoughts and insights on those topics in language, in education, in culture, in technology, in universality, in religion, and in environment. Okay, on behalf of Head of Language Unit IAIN Madura, we would like to welcome you all to our lecture talk series 16. Thank you very much for your availability to join in our activity, and again my apology for any inconveniences. To our beloved moderator today, Mr. Saiyidi Hasbullah, as the he is one of English tutors at FLDP program UPT Bahasa IAIN Madura. And for Mr. Saiyidi, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the hit of UPT Bahasa IAIN Madura. Thank you for all the keynote speakers, and also thank you for all the participants joining this program or joining this meeting today. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody from Indonesia. Good afternoon for the keynote speakers from Indonesia. Hello, everybody. How are you today? Okay, thank you very much. I am as a moderator for this lecture talk series 16. Would like to say about what is the theme of the lecture talk 16 or series 16. Here is utilizing high technology for gaining excellence education quality. So we have three invited presenters from our university from Indonesia, and also we have keynote speakers from the three countries. For the first keynote speaker is Dr. Luis M. Cardoso, and also the second keynote speaker we have Dr. Alesa Durgaryan. Also the third keynote speaker we have Dr. Prodhan Mahbub IS. For the Dr. Luis M. Cardoso, he is from Polytechnic Institute of Portalegre, Portugal, and also for the second keynote speakers, she is from Armenia. He is also the trainer, ESL, EFL, and also ESP trainer, global educator. And for the last keynote speakers today in this meeting, for from the invited presenters, here from Nadya, Apriza, Azizi. She is the students of Islamic banking program here in Madura, and also for the second invited presenters here are Zaizatun, Nabilah, and also the students of Islamic education management program here in Madura, and the last invited presenters here, Syarifah, Aini. She is the students of English language teaching here in Madura. So, well, everybody, we start our lecture talk series today from the first keynote speakers. Yeah, he is Dr. Luis M. Cardoso. He is from the Polytechnic Institute of Portalegre, Portugal. The floor is yours.
So greetings from Portugal, good morning from Portugal, good afternoon to our dear friends and colleagues in Indonesia. So first of all, I would like to thank the very kind invitation to be here. I would like to thank the organizing committee. I would like to thank my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Abdul Wafi. I would like to thank Dr. McMahon, and of course, would like to thank our esteemed moderator, our esteemed colleagues that are here today, and our esteemed students. So it's a great pleasure to be here. And I hope we can enjoy this journey, this lecture. And I hope that we can all share knowledge and interesting thoughts about this very important topic that was chosen for today's event. So my dear friends, my dear colleagues, allow me to share my screen. I hope it's visible.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, my friends. So I chose for today's presentation a topic that is quite relevant in our challenges regarding the 21st century. It is the key skills and the key literacies for the Horizon 2030 and the great challenges that we have ahead regarding all these opportunities to create a new horizon for education, for technology, for sustainability for us all, and to create opportunities to create a common future. And this is all about connecting. And so this is why conferences like this one are so important. So, my dear friends, I would like to start by saying that we are at the dawn of the 21st century, and we all understand that we have, of course, huge challenges ahead of us. So these challenges include the nature of the pillars sustaining modern society, information and communication technologies that are quite important nowadays, not just in education, but of course in our informational society as a whole. The complexity and heterogeneous and constantly changing social relations that establish new opportunities, but also some gaps between cultures and unfortunately, sometimes even misunderstandings. So this is why we have to create opportunities to know more about other countries, to know more about different cultures, to know more about different thoughts and opinions. And of course, we have an endless flow of information transmitted to us through multiple channels and platforms. This is, of course, an extraordinary opportunity. We never had so much platforms at the same time helping us to achieve this goal of getting information for all. But we also need to understand that we require the use of proper instruments, proper tools, proper skills, proper literacies to understand information, to analyze information, to establish with information the connection we want regarding education, and regarding our learning objectives and goals. And of course, we have to think that we have an urgent need for education and pedagogy to cope with these transformations. So, in summary, we have here a main challenge. So our world is changing very fast. And the key question that we must ask is this one. How about you? Are you changing as well? So are you prepared? So this question is all about understanding these challenges in our universities, understanding these challenges in our schools, for us teachers, for us researchers, and of course, for all our students, because these challenges are for all. And we have a new focus, and the new focus is the Horizon 2030. So as we all know, the European Union, for example, has placed the focus of the teaching learning process on the student. This is called the Bologna process. So this means that the student is the core of our classroom. The student is the heart and the mind of our classroom. This means that the student is the pillar of construction regarding our educational system, regarding our curriculum, regarding our learning opportunities, our goals, and of course, choosing pedagogical instruments and tools to achieve these goals. So acquisition of skills in an increasingly autonomous way is one of the most important goals that we have today to achieve Horizon 2030. So this is a common effort, my friends. This is a common effort. I was talking about the European Communion, but of course, we are committed with UNESCO, with the OECD, with the SDGs regarding Horizon 2030, because this is something that must be thought and planned with organized and proper educational policies. So this is why establishing connections between different countries is vital for us to have common guidelines to build these opportunities to grow together. Because these challenges also include diversity, and diversity is a great challenge, my dear colleagues and my dear friends. For example, diversity of forms of learning. So nowadays, we are facing personalized teaching strategies. We are facing collaborative teaching and informal teaching. We are facing problem-solving teaching and project work. We have to encourage communication and teamwork in our classes. We have to motivate students. We must cultivate creativity and innovation. We have to capitalize on technological knowledge of our students. We have to develop activities closer to the real world. And of course, valuing metacognitive skills, promoting learning without borders, without space, and without time. So this is indeed our common goal. For example, for Bull and Gilbert, the 21st century teachers will not be proficient in every topic on the curriculum, but must become experts in figuring out, along with their students, how to do something, how to find out something, or how to use something to do something new. And the key word here is new, my friends. So a key part of their role will be to model confidence, openness, persistence, and commitment for learners in the face of uncertainty. And we all face uncertainty, of course, in our lives, in our professional life, in our personal life. So we have to establish that guidelines, frameworks are important, skills are important, literacies are important. And nowadays, the labor market is so demanding regarding these new skills, not just the traditional hard skills, but also the soft skills, the social skills, the personal skills. So, of course, this means that we have a new portrait of teachers. So the 21st century teacher is all about being curious. And as Faulkner and Leighton said, curious teachers who lead adventurous lives have developed resilience and are more creative problem solvers. These are the teachers who can propel those engines. They are able to model and develop the skills that help students build capacity and pleasure in both finding and solving problems. So this is our main task, my dear colleagues, to create opportunities for our students to solve problems. Because our degrees, of course, are important, but we have to choose what is the main direction of universities. And the main direction, the main goal, the main path for universities is to establish connections with their communities. So we have to think about the needs of these communities, the expectations of these communities, what these communities want from us, from our schools, from our universities, from our researchers. And we have to give them the right answer to solve their problems. This is a true connection between university and community. And when we think about all this, that is a set of opportunities, we have to think, of course, about pedagogical innovation. So this means that today we have a learner-centered classroom, we have personalized instruction. Our students are not just consuming information, they are also producing information. And this is a big change. So we all have to learn new technologies. We teachers, we researchers, students as well. And we have to go global. We have to think global. We have to understand that this is a global effort to think about these Horizon 2030. So we have to be smart. We have to use technology. We have to use smartphones, for example. We have to use blogs. We have to go digital. We have to collaborate. We have to use Twitter chats. We have to connect. We have to use project-based learning as one of the most important tools that we have. We have to build positive digital footprint. And of course, we must be innovative and keep learning. And keep learning is also another extraordinary expression to understand these challenges about Horizon 2030. Because thinking about Horizon 2030 is thinking about the future. So the future, and according to this OECD report, the future will be about pairing the artificial intelligence of computers with the cognitive, social, and emotional capabilities of humans, so that we educate first-class humans and not second-class robots. So it is our responsibility as concerned adults to acknowledge and understand the trends that are shaping this industrial revolution, to impart that understanding to our children as early as possible. So it is our responsibility, in other words, to help our children to get ready for their future. So this is why we have to give them the most important tools that will help them to understand and reshape our world, because we have unprecedented challenges. We are facing challenges, for example, social challenges, economical challenges, environmental challenges. So all this driven by accelerating globalization and the faster rate of technological developments. So the future, of course, is always uncertain, but we can not predict it. But we have to be prepared. We have to be open. We have to be ready for it. How can we do this? So let's think about this, my dear friends. Today's children will be adults by 2030. So this means that we have to give our children the instruments and the tools to become active professionals and active citizens by 2030. So this also encourages a set of opportunities to understand how our students are now connected with technology. For example, when we think about how our students think, how our students connect with different gadgets at the same time, for example, and this is a portrait of our teens on screens. So this means that our teens can be connected at the same time with different sets of technology, different types of technology, different opportunities to learn by themselves. So this is why we need multimodal literacy. And multimodal literacy is another key word regarding Horizon 2030. So we as teachers need to understand that literacy skills involved in comprehending text or media utilize various models of presentation nowadays. So we have to think about teacher training programs, for example, regarding literacies, regarding skills, so that our teachers are prepared, so that our researchers are on track with these guidelines, are on track with these learning outcomes, with pedagogical innovation. And of course, when we connect all these dots, then we will reach the opportunity to use multimodal literacy. And when we think about multimodal literacy, we think about the most important literacies that we have today regarding the 21st century and regarding the digital age we are living. For example, we have the traditional literacies, and now we have new literacies as well. So this is why we talk about traditional literacy, information literacy, visual literacy, critical literacy, media literacy, tool literacy, digital, data, global, economic, civic, health, historic literacy, and so on. So this means we need a lot of literacies to understand our changing world. So this is, of course, a challenge for our universities to prepare teachers for all this. And of course, a challenge for our students to understand that they require to master these literacies in this digital age, so they can become active citizens, as I said before. Because if we know literacies, if we know digital literacy, for example, we can use digital technologies. We can use information, academic, media, and data literacy. We can use all the advantages of being a digital citizen and to identify ourselves with the goals of being active as a digital citizen. This also means that digital creation and communication and digital learning, I'm talking about professional and lifelong learning, can be, of course, other paths that we have to follow. So all this, my friends, are connected, all this is connected with digital literacy. that is the key and vital literacy for us to achieve our aims by 2030. So this makes us think about digital skills and digital literacy. And these are two topics that are truly connected. So on one hand, we have, for example, about digital skills that we have to master, word processing, spreadsheet creation, PowerPoint creation, image editing, video editing, web design, programming, coding. And then we have elements of digital literacies, including cultural, cognitive, constructive, communicative, confident, creative, critical, and civic. And when we put together all this, when we join digital skills with these elements of digital literacies, then we gain digital literacy skills. And this is our goal, my dear colleagues. So we have to understand that when we connect digital skills with the elements of digital literacies, we get the digital literacy skills. So when we think about the most important literacies for our future, of course, we have to think about the so-called behaviors, practices, and competencies. This means that we have to connect what our community needs from us, creating new answers, creating new projects. For example, by the sense of play, by curiosity, by imagining, by dreaming, by being resilient, by understanding that it's okay to fail, that we have to continue, we have to work, we have to move on, we have to create a new mindset, we have to defer judgment. All this is connected with, for example, user-centered design, with empathy, with collaboration, with networking, with leadership, with global citizens, as I said before. So this takes us to thinking skills, including planning, design thinking, agile approach, critical thinking, reflection, coding, and of course, our current programs. But when we think about creativity, community, and thinking skills, we achieve a project delivery. So we plan, we deliver real-world projects, and real-world projects are answers to problems like sustainability with business sense, entrepreneur skills, and of course, using different tools. And we cannot forget STEM, for example. So future literacies are also an opportunity to think about the use of new approaches regarding teaching and learning, like storytelling. So storytelling is absolutely extraordinary way to share solutions with stories. And we have nowadays storytelling, for example, connected with branding, with design, with video, with marketing. So future literacies, my friends, are all about a new mindset regarding skills. And for example, when we compare the skills that we need in 2015 and the skills that we needed in 2020, we can analyze these lists, these top 10 skills that were required, and we have a lot of changes. For example, quality control and active listening that we have in 2015 are no longer as important in 2020. And we have new ones. For example, we have now emotional intelligence and we have cognitive flexibility that are now truly important. But of course, when we think about the near future, for example, 2025, and we have a portrait here from the World Economic Forum, then we analyze that analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, complex problem solving, critical thinking and analysis, creativity, originality and initiative, leadership and social influence, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design and programming, resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, reasoning, problem solving, and ideation are the most important skills, the top 10 skills for 2025. So this, my friends, are some trends and some guidelines regarding Horizon 2030. So these guidelines and these trends mean that we are now creating a new set of opportunities to think about Horizon 2030, not just like a goal, like an objective, but as a challenge. So we have to rethink our universities, we have to rethink our degrees, because nowadays we have to give our students not just a degree, not just the knowledge, but also the skills, the literacies, the hard skills, the social skills, the soft skills. All this must be together. And when we do this, then we will have extraordinary professionals, extraordinary persons, and extraordinary citizens. And of course, we all want the best for our countries. We all want the best for our students. And this is why we have to work together. Thank you, my dear friends, for inviting me. It was a great pleasure to be here with you. And I wish you all the best. And I hope we can continue working together in the next future. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Luis. This is from the first speakers talking about the technology. How important the technology here or today. So from the elaborations from Dr. Luis Cardoso, that technologies are very pivotal for our life to prepare the preparations in the next life to be success and extraordinary people, students, and also the teacher. Okay, thank you very much. After this, I would like to give the chance to give the questions for Dr. Luis Cardoso. Maybe any questions from the participants. I will give to participants to give the questions for Dr. Luis Cardoso. Come on. Yeah, come on, Miss Eva Nikmatul Rabiani. Or the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Luis. So it's been a very long, good afternoon. It's been a very long time. I didn't join lecture talk, but I'm so happy that today I can join again the lecture talk, and I'm so interested into your your presentations. It was a very insightful presentations dealing with the technology. In your presentations, you are mentioning about the top 10 skills of 2025. And one of it is the analytical thinking and innovations. So I'm wondering, with the marvelous developments of the AI, and it is massively used by our students, where they can ask many kind of questions from the chat box, and then they do not need to read a lot. They don't need to learn a lot, because they can it seems that they can automatically get the answer. And then how can you relate it with improving the students' analytical thinking, while on the other hand, they can use the technology? Yeah, Mr. Luis.
Thank you. It was an extraordinary question, a quite complex question. I'll try to answer in a few words. So we have here, as I said, a lot of challenges. And you highlighted so well that technology, for example, artificial intelligence, is now a great challenge for us all. Because we have here a dilemma that is not quite a dilemma. It's not a question of deciding if we want to accept or not new ways of technology. We have to accept new ways of technology. So we cannot forget that innovation and pedagogical innovation is always connected with technology. So we as teachers, we have to incorporate new paradigms in our pedagogical innovation. So this is vital because everything changes, right? Our society is changing, our economy is changing, our culture is changing. So technology is, of course, changing as well. So this means that our educational system must be flexible, must be able to adapt. And we are very important as teachers to establish this connection with these new challenges, these social challenges with our students. So education and technology, EdTech, are so connected nowadays that we cannot separate one from the other. So technology is here to help us. It's here to create opportunities. And technology, I would like to emphasize this, technology will never substitute teachers. Technology is a set of instruments, a set of tools that help us deliver our students more competencies, more skills, and more opportunities to grow. So we as teachers must be able to understand how we can use these new technologies to improve our classroom opportunities for our students to grow and to create new possibilities of understanding our world. So this is level number one. So we have to accept technology, of course, but we have to understand that technology also make us think about how to create some frontiers, for example, that we cannot cross regarding, for example, artificial intelligence. And a lot of persons nowadays are very worried, for example, about ChatGPT or about Bard. So we have to think that these are tools, these are instruments. And we as teachers, we use a lot of instruments, right? We use a lot of pedagogical innovation in our classrooms. We have to use this. And this, of course, will not substitute the need to be critical thinkers. And this is the other side of the question that you mentioned so well. So our students must be critical thinkers. And why? Because we have a lot of information nowadays. We have information 24/7. We have information in different platforms. We have information that is all around us. So our students must be able to understand that information, to select information, to use the right information, and then to work with that information. How are they going to do this? By using critical thinking, for example, by using skills and literacies about information, about communication, about media literacy, about technology. So this means, on one hand, that we as teachers must adapt, must be flexible, must be in touch with innovation, must incorporate new trends of technology, but we cannot forget that we have to develop in our students the need, the urge to discover. We have to give our students inspirational thoughts about discovering the world by themselves. And this is the most important way that we can help them to become extraordinary professionals and extraordinary persons. So this is why critical thinking is so important. Because if we don't have critical thinkers in our society, then we will have problems regarding the use of information. For example, when we talk about fake news, when we talk about disinformation, misleading information, if we don't have critical thinking to understand all these phenomena, then we won't be able to have correct standards in our society. So to summarize all this, we have to establish that education and technology are connected. And second, we cannot forget that we still have to develop personal skills and social skills with our students to use these technology opportunities in the most profitable way possible for them and for our community. Thank you so much for your very interesting question.
Okay, the answer, and very good and very great answer.
Nobody can replace a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's
Indeed, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, I will give the chance or opportunity for the students of University of IAIN Madura to give the questions for the Dr. Liz Cardoso. Please, times for the students of university. Maybe any questions? Raise your hand, please. Come on, any questions from the students of the University of IAIN Madura? Come on. I will give the chance for Nabilah, the times for you for giving the questions for Dr. Liz Cardoso.
Hello, Mr. I want to ask about how is education in Portugal?
Good morning from Portugal, and good afternoon to you. So, well, education as a global system here in Portugal is aligned with European standards, with European guidelines, and with European frameworks. So it would take a bit of time to explain how our educational system works, but we would like to highlight the following. First of all, we have the first path of our educational system that has 12 years of education, and then our students go to universities where they can obtain a degree, and then they can choose, for example, to continue their studying by studying for a master's degree or a PhD degree, for example. And this is to summarize the path that they can choose, of course. And I would like to say that the focus today here in Portugal is to think about the opportunity to have an holistic approach regarding education. So we have to think that knowledge is so important, and we need different types of knowledge to understand our world, as I said before, and we need the proper knowledge to be a competent professional, of course. But according, for example, with the OECD, according to UNESCO, we also have to develop these skills for 2030. And by 2030, we want to achieve education for all. We want to achieve a sustainable educational perspective. So this means that we have to connect these skills, these literacies with our degrees to create opportunities for our students to incorporate these new instruments to become active as citizens, to become active in their communities. So to summarize, because it's a very interesting question, but it's a huge answer required. Our main focus is to develop the competencies in our students so that they can be successful as persons, as professionals, and as citizens. So this is a mindset that is established and connected with frameworks regarding education for 2030, regarding OECD guidelines, and regarding the opportunity to develop these skills in our students so that they can be, for example, critical thinkers, that they can master technologies, that they can be flexible, they can be up to date, they can be interested, they can be game changers. They have to establish new mindsets regarding their futures. So this is nowadays challenge regarding educating our students. And I'm sure we all agree that this is common for us all here in Portugal, and of course, also with you, my dear friends and colleagues from Indonesia as well.
Okay, I think, is it clear, Nabilah, or not? I think it is very clear for the response and also the answer from Dr. Luis Cardoso. And then I think it is enough for the first keynote speaker, for our keynote speaker today. Thank you very much, Dr. Luis Cardoso, for your time joining this lecture talk and become a keynote speaker today. Thank you very much for all the participants. We go ahead to the next keynote speakers. Yeah, go ahead to our keynote speakers here. Dr. Alice Durgaryan. She's ESL or EFL and ESP trainer, global educator from Armenia. And he will also talk about material dealing with the utilizing high technology for gaining excellence education quality. The times and the floor for you, Dr. Alice Durgaryan.
Thank you. Good morning from Armenia and good afternoon.
Good afternoon from Indonesia.
Yes, from Indonesia. And I would like to thank you, first of all, for this opportunity and also for you, moderator, and also all the other organizers. Yes, as you have mentioned, today I'm going to talk not only about the education quality and also about the technologies that usually we use in the classroom, because everything I am going to discuss to represent from the point of teaching, especially at school, how we usually just try to conduct lessons, what kind of technologies are used in the world to teach any subject, is a curriculum of the teaching and also school subject. This is, I think, 21st century is another, because when we compare, every century has different kinds of changes, but 21st century has changed not only the format, the structure, the peculiarities of teaching education, but first of all, the input of technology and the development of different kinds of technological techniques and their input in education has changed. There are a lot of different kinds of changes, because when we go back and read some kinds of fantastic genre literature, we can see that in fantastic literature we can meet such kind of changes, but such kind of stories and also events in fantasy, in fantastic literature, they have happened like to be the real just one. But we have maybe never have thought, for example, as for me, when I was a pupil, maybe primary school pupil, I haven't even imagined that there will be time, for example, we would have internet, we would do online sessions. I would have many so great friends and teachers from all over the world in the teaching sphere. And from this point of view, technology really has done a lot of efforts and a lot of work. And nowadays we see that it has changed not only the structure of education, but also we have effective, let's say, results in teaching sphere. We try to, as a novelty, we try to sometimes to criticize, to discuss, to debate on this topic, trying to have more and more information about it. But today I'm going to speak from the point of positivity, like what kind of positive effectiveness has technology in teaching process. And first of all, I would like, as we know, education, just to differentiate the technology and also the education quality, because education quality is going to be like one of the SDG goals in our society, which we try always stress this important problem, because we can get education, we can have such kind of opportunities, but it's very necessary to pay attention to the quality of education, because if you have qualified education, it means that the whole materials, the techniques, the technology, tools, everything will be just taught and learned by the users, by the students. And at the end, you will have like a full program of teaching, which will help you to construct your future, to choose appropriate profession, and be a good specialist in your professional work and become more and more experienced in it. And also in this case, education, like talking about the quality, this qualification and also quality of education, is very important to pay attention to the technology, because it changes the education. It changes how, when, and where students learn, and empowering them at every stage of their journey, because we can start using since, for example, from kindergarten to the high school, college, university, and in each stage of education, it has its objectives, its goals, and using the appropriate strategy for it, it will help us just to achieve. And also in our case, it's very important to pay attention with technology to the technology resources, because it helps you to choose the appropriate one, and also to pay attention to its structure and how can I effectively use it, because I can have a plenty of different kinds of technology tools, but it's important to pay attention which one is appropriate one, which can help me to solve my teaching problems in teaching process. The first one, it's going to be like educators who are always striving to personalize learning for their students, because it can help them really to find logical information, its content, apps appropriate to, in order to have really a very good strategy, or a very good, just appropriate technique for teaching. And also can help them create blended learning environments. In order to be aware of different kinds of technological tools, we can have blended learning classes, online and offline, or synchronous and asynchronous learning in different stages of our teaching and learning. And also about the formative and summative assessments, bringing new models to the learning state. I can have a topic, an information, which I can explain as a teacher to my students, and as in order to check, to assess them, I can use different kinds of technological tools. For example, learning apps. I can make tests, quizzes, and this can help me, my students, to learn, to practice not only the technological tool, but at the same time, being interested in the material, being interested in using this tool, because it helps them to just remember more and more information, just connecting to them to the tool and the information. And also while having fun, while playing, for example, if I use Kahoot, they can play, but at the same time, they try to learn, they try to summarize some kinds of information they have learned beforehand. And also technology in education and the right devices can help prepare and also have different kinds of achievements in their learning, and also for choosing their appropriate profession for future. According to it, the learning experiences can inspire creativity, critical thinking, metacognition, and prepare them for their future career, choosing the appropriate tools and also choosing the appropriate, maybe students want to become a programmer. In this case, this helps them to create, to be aware of different kinds of programs. And in this case, it's very appropriate for them just to use them and be a good specialist in future. And of course, the school systems, which due before the COVID, it was another education system all over the world. And when COVID started, began, there was a mess in education, international work, because every school, different countries, they try to find the appropriate method, the appropriate platform, appropriate tools, digital tools, in order to start to change. It has also very different kinds of difficulties, because there were many people who weren't aware of digital literacy, digital words, and maybe they just have known some just tools that have been just using, but not very often. But when everything has changed, and in this case, everything changed to the virtual platform, and there were different kinds of difficulties, but all the variety of such kind of different kinds of digital tools help the teachers to be aware of the variety of digital tools, just try to learn to get used to using such different kinds of apps. And nowadays, when we go back and look back, as for you, you will see that maybe even computer, even a platform, or even different kinds of telephone apps. Before the COVID, we can just use off, we can see, look through it and not use. But nowadays, even for teachers, even for students, from the point of view, teachers, they can plan their lessons using different kinds of digital tools, and it really makes their lessons more and more interesting. And for students also, because 21st century students, they are different. They differ from the ones, for example, that were maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because nowadays, especially the students who want to have an ability every day. And when you bring to your class different kinds of digital tools, it helps your students just to go to be more and more interested in your lesson. And in other cases, in many things, digital literacy and also virtual platforms help them, because technology is driving like force in education, and schools are like rapidly adapting teaching-based teaching, technology-based teaching, and technology is becoming like a very necessity for many schools, for teaching, for education, because having different kinds of teaching tools, like, for example, it can be smart boards or can be different kinds of apps. This really helps them to become more and more just aware of it. And reasons, why do we usually use this technology? Because maybe the first goal or not goal, maybe objective was when it was really necessary when we faced with COVID. But in other cases, let's try to discuss it from another point. The first one is accelerated learning, because integrating and all the development, all the changes, because maybe we're seeing year by year, but nowadays, day by day, even hour by hour, there are different kinds of changes in education, in tools, in technology, and we try to have like the use of unique approach in class activities. And in some cases, it develops a learning eagerness amongst the students. And this accelerating learning helps them to go ahead, just not to stand in one place, but go ahead and ahead. And the second reason, it can be personalized learning, because so the means of technology for schools, the teachers can create and modify the curriculum as per students' just needs and preferences, because I can have a lesson plan, choose a technology tools, working with the whole class for one student, with a student with special needs, and it allows anytime access to education. And it technology usage of technology, it allows me to have to create my personal education system and or my personal education points, or maybe programs or plans, lesson plans, and use them anytime in any place. And also increased collaboration, because 21st century education, one of the points that we usually stress, it goes to collaboration and collaborative work. Students like to have collaborative projects.
Excuse me, Miss.
Yes.
2 minutes left.
Okay. And it goes to them just to have a really very good just education and having teamwork. It helps them to go and to know more. Now let's about the various tools to implementation pertinent technologies in schools. It can be smart board, it can be smart tables, projectors, integrated learning system, and also some kinds of technologies that usually we use in our education. It is used in education today, different kinds of technological ones. The first point, it started from the distance learning, because when we go to the virtual platform, we change everything, starting from the textbooks, the material, to the methods, and also the result. It can be various reasons or results at the end of the virtual platform learning. And also using the virtual technologies, virtual reality technologies, it helps us to have different kinds of lessons. And the next one is cloud technology. It gives me an opportunity to have to save, to change. Maybe if I have paper-based one, I have to print every time, but in cloud technology, I have an opportunity to change it, and there is no need every time to save, but it automatically saves all everything. And the next point is computer and tablets in classrooms. This is very important one, because it gives my students an opportunity to access to the internet using different kinds of apps and platforms and materials, or doing online tests or activities. And also maybe one of the main points that usually we go is robotics. Maybe in the future, nearly it can be in 5 years or 10 years, I think we will have such kind of opportunity to have robots in our schools, which can be used, which can teach such kind of examples, not in education, but in other, in business, in administrative service field we already have, and they just give effective results. Maybe in future also it can be used, but from another point of view, like to use robots not to teach, but to use robots' peculiarities and abilities in order to have effective education, just having blended learning, virtual reality with robots, and also maybe this will be another novelty and new point of view for our future. And so we can say that it is easier, the first point, for teachers to use it. It makes possible for schools to have different kinds of education systems and tools, digital, And also it gives a new way for students to learn, to have more interesting and more good and effective lessons, and also enables them to manage all the management and administrative factors that they can have in their educational path. I try to be brief, and as you see, it can be like a good and inseparable part of modern education, 21st century education methods and education technology. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentations, Dr. Durgaryan. Today, I would like to give the chance for the students of university to ask the questions for Dr. Lais and second speakers of our lecture talk series 16. Please, Nadya, Apriza, Azizi, times is yours to give the question.
Hi, Miss. I want to ask, the question is, how can technology and education be balanced?
I think it's a new novelty, as I have mentioned in my presentation. Thank you, first of all, for your question. It's a novelty and maybe necessity for the 21st century, but while using technology, it doesn't mean to have all your education or your teaching process only through the technological tools, but you have just to keep the balance between them. Because if I can use, for example, 80% of only technological tools and nothing from, for example, from the traditional education, there will be time when we will be just bored with the technological tools. That's why while planning, while conducting your teaching, your educational, or maybe a project or a program, just keep the balance between them, and according to it, it will become that the relevance between the education and technology will be just kept, and only in this case you will just achieve and get positive results, because maybe 10 years it won't be so relevant, for example, to use only traditional methods, only using the technology in this case, but the relevance, in order to keep, you just should just choose the appropriate and effective strategy. First of all, to know what kind of objectives or the needs that you have to solve, some kinds of objectives according to it, just to use the appropriate one. And in this case, the balance, the relevance between the education and technology will be kept.
Okay, I think it is clear for the answer of Dr. Louis Durgaryan, how to mix technology and education balance. Okay, maybe any questions from another participants? No questions. Thank you very much. I thank you. I do thank you for Dr. Louis Durgaryan as a second keynote speaker to attend to this meeting in the lecture talk series 16. Thank you very much. And also we continue or go ahead to the next presentations. It is from the students of university. This is the first invited presenters is Nadya, Apriza, Azizi, students of Islamic banking program IAIN Madura. Times and floor for you.
example of digital technology that used by students.
Okay, because there's something wrong with the technique. I'm so sorry. I would like to give the chance and for taken invited presenter. Yeah, Nabilah. Thumbs and floor for you. Kenapa? Belum di update.
Ini geser ya, Om.
Bisa.
Oh ya. Ke bawah. Langsung gak ini, Pak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time today. My name is Zaizatun Nabilah. I'm a student of Islamic Education Management Program. As you can see on the screen, our topic is about the impact of technological development on education. Of course, the development of technology must have a big impact on us. There are positive and negative impacts. Therefore, I will describe any impact. Facing the 21st century, UNESCO in 1996 took the journal The International Commission on Education for the 21st Century recommended sustainable education carried out based on the 4 pillars of the learning process. Namely, the first is learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. To be able to realize the 4 pillars of education in the current era of globalization, teachers need to master and apply information and communication technology in learning. According to Rosenberg, with the development of ICT use, there are several changes in the learning process. Namely, the first is from classrooms to anywhere and anytime. The second is from paper to online. And the last is from physical facilities to network facilities. The internet is one of the cheap communication tools where it allows interaction between 2 or more. With the internet enabling a long-distance learning process to be more effective and efficient so that maximum results can be obtained. However, in everyday life, we must not forget that technology does not only bring positive impact, but also negative impact. So for the first, I will explain about the positive impact technology on education. The first is the emergence of electronic media as a source of science and education center. Therefore, the teacher is not the only source of science, so that in learning, students do not need to be glued to the information taught by the teacher, but can also access from the internet. And the second is the emergence of new learning methods that make it easier for students and teachers in the learning process. And the learning system does not have to go through face-to-face. And the existence of data processing system uses technology utilization so that processing data is easier, fast, and efficient. And the last is fulfillment of the need for educational facilities can be fulfilled quickly, especially in learning activities. There are several benefits that can be obtained from technological developments. Namely, the first is learning becomes more effective and interesting, and then can explain something difficult and speed up the whole process. Okay, for the next part, I will explain about the negative impact technology on education. The first is can cause the teachers move, because now learning can be done alone, so that it can cause someone to be individualized. Often accessing the internet is feared that students actively use it for negatives such as pornography, online games, and can even get cyber-relational addiction. And students can become addicted to the internet world. Cybercrime in the world of education can occur, such as theft of confidential documents. And the last is capacity in each individual, whether as a teacher or student. Ngomong apa? Well, it brings me to the end of my presentation. Before I end this presentation, let me go over the key issues again. In conclusion, technological developments certainly have a big impact on us, whether it's a positive or negative impact. Based on the figures we have, I'm quite certain that we should create some change to be better. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentations about the negative and positive impacts of technology. Maybe any questions from the participants today about what is the negative and positive impacts of the technology from the second invited presenters? Come on. I will give the time for yes. Come on. Will be Syarifah. Yeah. Okay, Syarifah, please, the time for you to give the question from the second to the second presenter. On.
Well, thank you. I want to ask who is Nabilah. So, how to prevent negative impact of this? Well, thank you.
Okay, Eva, thank you for your question. So to overcome the negative impact, it can be done in a way. The first is consider the use in the world of education, especially for minors, then not making technology as the only educational means, but also using books. Use optimally without removing ethics, and enforce the law that applies to technology criminals. And the last is parents must be able to monitor their children in the use of technology. Thank you.
Okay, I think it is clear. Maybe any question from another another participant? maybe from Aulia. Presenter.
I wanna ask to
Okay, come on.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, from Nur Tilawatil Quran. Come on.
Here I want ask to the Mrs. Nabilah, what can use the negative side of technology? What can use the negative side of technology in the life, in our life? Do you know about my question?
I'm sorry, but can you repeat that? I
Come on, please repeat your question.
What can cause the negative side of technology?
Yeah. Come on.
Well, thank you for your question. Apa tadi soalnya?
What cause?
What cause? Oh. Ini. Oh, bukan. Bukan ngerti jawabannya. Si. Cause the negative impact on education because lack of parental supervision, because the parents must be able to monitor their children in the use of technology. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I think this is clear, yeah. Because of the technology impact. Okay, thank you for the second invited presenter. And now I would like to give the chance and we will go ahead to the next presenter or invited presenter. This is Miss Nadya Apriza Azizi. The time and floor for you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I will introduce myself first. My name is Nadya Apriza Azizi. You can call me Nadya. I am second semester student of Islamic banking. Today, my topic is two-way sustainability, technological sophistication, and quality of education.
Mau reng. Ini luar negeri, tapi din bener. Dia down dulu.
What is the technology? Technology is the application of behavioral and natural science as well as other knowledge in a systematic way to solve human problems. What is the meaning education technology? The term educational technology is often misinterpreted as the use of technology in the educational process. Educational technology does not only talk about the use of both print and non-print media in education. This cannot be full blame because the beginning of the development of educational technology was considered as the media, so that the terms of educational technology continued to develop until now long with the development of science and technology. The role of educational technology in improving the quality of human resources includes the first, facilitating learning through the process of designing, developing, utilizing, managing, and evaluating learning resources. The second, solving learning problems by integrating various scientific files in an integrated manner. The third, solving learning problems in human as a whole and simultaneously by paying attention to and studying all conditions and interrelate among them. The fourth, using technology as a process and product to help solve learning problems. The fifth, provide option for solving organizational performance problems systematically through performance technology and instructional design. And the last, creating innovation in the field of education and learning and disseminating it. The role of technology in the world of education, namely replacing the role of human, namely by automating a task or process, strengthening the role of human, namely presenting information, task or process, ICT as a source of teaching material, ICT as an educational tool and facility, control on smartphone. Example of application in the field of education. The first, computer-based learning. In the 216 national exam, it was computer-based or known as CBT. The second, sharing result for academic people, student, lecturer, or scientists need to share the result as quick as possible. Technology makes it easy to share. The third, consultation with experts via the internet, for example, asking questions via WhatsApp or email. Not only using via WhatsApp or email, but we can meet people who are abroad, such as in America, by using the Google Meeting application and also other webinars, such as using Zoom. The fourth, online library. For example of an online library is Perpusnas. Now there are many PDF that make it easier for us to study online using books in PDF from or journals from our own campus or other people's campuses. The fifth, online discussion. For example, on the site kaskus.com, there are many sites for online discussion, so you can get information such as detik.com, kompas.com, tribunnews.com, and other. And the last, e-learning. For example, like brainly.com. Our campus also has e-learning such as Simpadu, which contain personal data and campus data. Well, that's all the presentation of material from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentations, Nadya. This is for the first presenter, the invite presenter talking about technology, usage of technology. Maybe another participants will ask or will give the questions for Nadya Apriza. I will give the times for, Alifa. Come on, it's the time for you, for Alifa. Unmute dulu.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Alifa. I would like to ask the second presenter. How do we keep up with the rapid development of technology now, so that we still get the role of technology in improving human resource?
Come on. Once again, Alifa, sorry.
Okay. How do we keep up with the rapid development of technology now, so that we still get the role of technology in improving?
Yeah. Okay. Come on. How do we keep up the rules of using technology? Come on. For the presenter.
Okay, thank you for the question, Miss Alifa. Well, I will answer the question. Keep adapting, optimal utilizing of technology, wise use of technology, get an education in technology, create innovation by relying on technology.
Hey, Alifa, is it answering your question? Okay, next question, maybe.
You're welcome.
Yeah, here in chat box from Aulia Rizkiana. Yeah. We always use technology in study. This is the second question from the chat. On Nadya Apriza. Please answer these questions from Aulia. Do you always technology in study?
Yes, like Zoom, Google Meeting, Chrome, and other.
Okay. Any questions? Nur Tilawatil Quran. We have questions?
Yes, I have question to Mrs. Nadya Apriza Azizi. Please give me example the technology that used by the student in Indonesia and in the others ASEAN.
Okay, thank you for the question, Miss Ila. Well, I will answer the question of Miss Ila. Example of digital technology in today's era in everyday life, there are smartphones like hearts that can be forgotten to carry everywhere. The second, television, which give us the latest news and there is also entertainment. The third, tablet, which are used to help keep learning like students like me to record material important. The fourth, radio is not much different from television. It's just the radio cannot display image like television. And the last, laptop, that we use now as a tool and make it easier to continue learning remotely.
Okay.
Okay.
Check, Mr. Saiyidi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess we would like to give the opportunity to the Kaprodi of Perbankan Syariah, Mr. Khatibul Umam. Would you like to say something to your student here?
Yeah.
English or by Arabic?
I forget to say Arabic. A long time ago, I never talk. Ya, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Here in Zoom meeting. May Allah bless us.
Amin, amin.
Exactly to the Nadya Apriza is very amazing for me to know that this student in second semester can come to this opportunity to talk about the meeting, the lecture talk series 16, series 19 ya berarti ya.
16.
I'm sorry. Utilizing high technology for gaining excellency education quality. Alhamdulillah, thanks to Allah, in this community, I know that Madura, exactly in Prodi Perbankan Syariah, have a good student. So I will say thank you to Mr. Abdul Wafi and other tutor in FLDP is very wonderful that this output istilahnya ya. Output for this meeting, I mean this program FLDP, until there is people, the student can speak in the international forum, such as Nadya, Apriza, Azizi, and others. Untuk Mbak Azizi ya luar biasa sekali. Nanti mungkin ke depannya Pak Abdul Wafi ya.
Okay.
Depannya mungkin all people in not only in Perbankan Syariah, but also in the other program in IAIN. How to talk in international meeting, yes, such as in this moment. Not only about the education, only the economic or Syariah or the other or law and others. I hope in this opportunity support the accreditation program in department in Madura, exactly, because we know that if we want to get a unggul ya istilahnya, excellence in the accreditation of department, we have to get international pengakuan. Recognition. Maaf, I'm sorry because so long time ago never talk about English until keluar out from Paris gitu.
Oh.
But still little. I can speak English fluently in this moment. Baik, terima kasih semuanya kepada seluruh audien ya. I give thanks, terima kasih banyak sudah mendukung kegiatan ini. Teman Pak Abdul Wafi dan tim dari FLDP sudah luar biasa sekali. Semoga kedepannya semakin semakin bagus lagi tema-temanya, semakin berkembang karena ini sangat mendukung terhadap program rektor program unggulannya. Dan saya sebagai Kaprodi sangat mengapresiasi karena bentar lagi tanggal 23 sampai 25 ini we will get accreditation examination accreditation for Islamic banking ya in Islamic banking department in Madura. I hope we get excellence unggul.
Amin.
Unggul. Allah. Baik, terima kasih Pak Wafi. Mohon maaf saya nggak bisa lama-lama.
Siap.
I get a student to get bimbingan from me. I say Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mantap.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rotibulumam, your suggestion and for your everything.
Yes, Pak.
Okay, maybe it is the time for us to go ahead for the next.
The last.
This is the last invited presenter. This is from our students, the students of University of IAIN Madura. This is the last. She is Syarifah Aini from the students of English language training, English language teaching IAIN Madura. And the time and floor I will give you.
Halo.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Syarifah Aini. You can call me Eva. I'm from English student of English language teaching. Well, at the first, I would like to say thanks to the Master of Ceremony who have given me time to deliver my presentation. It's about improving student speaking skill through YouTube learning media. At the first, I would like to tell you about the definition of speaking. There are two opinions. At the first, according to Ladius, speaking is an activity to explain someone in a certain situation or an activity to report something. Meanwhile, according to Tabrigan, speaking is a way to communicate the influences our daily activity. So it means speaking is the action of conveying information or expression one through and feeling in speaking language. Well, the next component of speaking, there are 5 components of speaking that must be paid attention by the student if they want to speak well. At the first, grammar. Grammar is a set of rules which describe how we use a language. The aim of grammar is also to learn the correct way to gain expertise in language in oral written form. And the second, vocabularies. Vocabularies is, mean the appropriate diction which is used in communication. Without having a sufficient vocabulary, one cannot communicate effectively or express his in both oral and written form. And the third is pronunciation. Pronunciation is the way for the student to produce clearly language. When they speak, it deals with the phonological process, refers to component of grammar made up of the element and participle that determine how sound vary pattern in the language. And also the fourth, fluency. Fluency can be defined as the ability to speak fluent and accurately. Fluence in speaking is the aim of many language learners. Side of fluence include the reasonable fast speed or speaking or only a small number of pause and And this side decided that the speakers does not have to spend a lot of time searching for language item need to express the message. And the last, comprehension. Comprehension also is the one of component of speaking. Comprehension is in the mean that power of understanding exercise aimed in improving testing ones. And the next, problem in speaking. Of course, we always found a problem in speaking, but there are four that we often found. At the first, inhabitation. Speaking takes some real-time exposure to an audience. This is inhabitation. Is caused by students being exempt or worried about making mistake when they attempt to speak because is it a foreign language in the class? Is it right, everybody?
Yeah.
Well, and the next, nothing to say. Sorry. Students have some problem because when they attempt to speak, they have to think and speak simultaneously. Therefore, some students get trouble considering anything to talk about. They do not have something to express themselves beyond or unmistakable sense that they should be speaking. And the third, the law of uneven participation state that in a class with a large number of students, student has only a few opportunities to speak and only one student dominates the conversation. Therefore, the student become a teacher's focus since they talk too much and while the others remain silent. In addition, the teachers associate student low speech with for behavior problem than student high speak or pick normal integrity. And the last, mother tongue use. It is familiar, I think. Why? Because the students speak in the same mother tongue in that class. Several reasons are gotten to be the reason why they tend to analyze it. First, it's easier for them to talk by using their mother language. And next, teaching speaking. There are three steps. At the first, pre-speaking. Pre-speaking is an activity is designed to get the student ready for the major speaking activity that follows. It is the recalling of early word knowledge of the participation that is relevant to the speaking context. And the next, the speaking or while speaking activities. That is the text itself and include in the while speaking activity, it helps students to practice speaking as a result of the role play, problem solving, and socialization or communication game. The student actually resolve that communicative problem. And the last, pre-speaking activities. Activities can allow learners to revisit that language and though that use and came out with new method to improve communication. Well, next, learning media. Teaching language need a good and interactive media. Media used in the teaching learners will keep the learners focused on the teachers. Those classroom will be on the teacher's control. The media should be effective and interesting so that it helps the student understanding to the material easily. Actually, there are many learning media. It seems like what just now Miss Dea said. That it seems like Brainly or Google Scholar maybe or Zoom like we are doing now. But here I would like to tell you about YouTube as a learning media. Why? Because YouTube is the biggest and popular site of online. YouTube is the biggest and popular site of online video in the world, especially internet. Currently, YouTube is spread across the world of all age, from children to the level of adults. The users can upload videos, search, watch videos, and discuss about videos, and also search videos clip for free. Every day, there are many of people who access it. So YouTube is potential to be used as a medium of learning English. YouTube provides a forum for people to connect with each other, provide information, inspire others around the world, and can be content creator and advertise both big and small. And last, Teaching speaking through YouTube learning media in improving students' speaking skill. Here we can, at the first, we can search YouTube. We can search something that we want to know, and then the second, in YouTube, there is some video recommendation, things like this. We can search what we want to watch. And the third, news and information. We can get some news from YouTube also. And the fourth, monetization for creators. And if we have become some creator, we can get money also from YouTube. And the last, YouTube Live, we can watch some YouTube Live here. So why YouTube can improve students' speaking skill? Because at the first, the teachers can give some assignment to the student. For example, the material is family. Order them to make some videos about family and then post it in their account, so that besides that can improve their speaking, they also has meant a lot of benefit for many people. It's like this one. Can you see it? I've made a YouTube account. I put all of my assignment here so that besides I can be creative and I can improve also my speaking, I think. Well, I think that's all from me. Thanks for your nice attention.
Okay.
Conclusion, ya, Pak? Well, the conclusion is speaking through YouTube learning media will be able to improve the students' speaking skill because it will motivate them to be involved actively in learning activities of speaking class. In addition, the use of YouTube beside the video, which provide picture and audios at the same time, will help them to train their pronunciation, enrich their vocabulary, and make them easier to learn. Well, I think that's all from me. Like, be back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you for your presentations, and this is very good presentations, I think. And then I will give the time for two questioners. Will be the two questioners. I will give time for you, Fernanda. Come on. We, Fernanda, will give the questions for the third or the last presenter, talking about teaching speaking from YouTube or media.
Pertanyaan sudah.
No. Come on, Fernanda. Do you have question, Fernanda? Okay, this is from the chat box. There's questions. How to speak English well using media? Yeah, it's the question from the chat box. How to speak English well using media?
Oh. Oh, well, thank you for the question. At the first, by media or di media? Di media. Or by YouTube. At the first, we have to have a lot of vocabulary so that we can speak well. And I think for the, what is that? Yes, vocabularies. And then we have to look for what we want to talk about. It's about the material. For example, it's about family. We have to know what we want to talk. And then the second, what is that? Make some videos and then upload in our account.
Okay, I think that's it. And thank you for your questions from Erina and also Amelia about technology and also the invited person. Today, we have 3 invited presenters and also 3 guest speakers. And alhamdulillah, program is running well. I am as a moderator. Sorry if I have any mistakes for controlling this meeting in lecture talk series 16. I am Hasbullah as moderator. I'm very sorry for everything. That's I see from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saiyidi Hasbullah. You are a great moderator. Nadya, Apriza, Azizi, great job. Aini also, you are doing a great job. Thank you very much. Okay, see you everyone. Sampai ketemu lagi. The next session, lecture talk series 17 ya. So for you guys, bagi yang minat untuk menjadi presenter, dan kita pilih nanti. Dan kita siapkan this to show your ideas. Bye-bye everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sometimes I want to be
presenter, keynote speaker, sir.
Keynote speaker here. Sometimes.
Nanti menyusul ya, sir ya. So I would like to say thank you very much to Ibu, my friend from Universitas Rogolaway. Oh, sudah keluar barusan. Pak Umam katanya mau ada bimbingan. Sudah selesai?
Masih. Nih.
Ini Nadya, kapan hari we have from IS ya? Siapa kemarin Alifa ya, Alifa dari IS. Febi lumayan banyak.
Sebenarnya kalau saya lihat pronunciation-nya bagus-bagus.
Kenapa?
Pronunciation-nya bagus-bagus. Saya malu saya itu. Kalau conference sering ikut conference sebenarnya, tapi pronunciation-nya kan saya nggak belajar lagi. Jadi gitu ya. Jadi ngomong kurang.
Jadi generasi lampau.
Iya, kita old generation.
Old generation.
Kalau kan milenial. Kalau kita kan masih old generation.
Mereka ini generasi tibrik, generasi patok-patok gitu-gitu.
Patok-patok. Emang lebih metode mereka itu sepertinya lebih cepat belajar bahasa Inggrisnya daripada saya. Kalau saya kan dulu bertahun-tahun belajarnya di pondok di ini. Kalau mereka kayaknya cepat.
Mereka digital native. Lahir mereka langsung pegang HP. Jadi lebih
sering nonton. Kalau kita kan dulu kan mau dengerin kampanye bahasa Inggris susah. Kalau yang sekarang ada YouTube, ada ini.
Iya.
Lebih dimudahkan oleh teknologi.
Kalau sekarang memang karena orangnya ya.
Ya. Kalau tak belajar lagi lah, biar nggak kalah saing sama mahasiswanya. Pronunciation-nya, kosakatanya.
Kita kan proses go internasional, jadi kita harus siap-siap untuk penguasaan bahasa asing. Dan insya Allah rencana kalau nggak salah bulan Juli nanti ini kita ada rihlah akademik ke 3 negara. Jadi Malaysia, Singapura, kemudian Thailand. Jika ada yang berminat untuk ikut, siap-siap ongkosnya ya. Paling
Kita dibayarin loh. Tidak nganggur gini.
4 jutaan 3 negara.